Stop for a moment. Feel the breath enter and leave. Notice how life is moving on its own without your command. The heart beats. The earth turns. The stars drift in their endless silence. There is no effort behind this dance. Why, then, do we believe that our lives must be forced, shaped, and endlessly managed? Why do we rush to fix, to arrange, to hold the future in a tight fist? Is it fear, or the illusion that control brings safety? Krishnamurti once asked, "Can you look at life without the movement of control, without the interference of will?" It is a question that does not wait for an answer. It simply opens a door. Imagine a life where each moment unfolds like a river flowing toward the sea, without a plan, without resistance. Can you feel the quiet strength of such freedom? If this reflection resonates within you, allow yourself to stay with these words. And, if you wish, gently follow this channel, so these moments of stillness may find you again. No urgency, just an invitation. Now, let us journey deeper, into the quiet heart of existence where nothing is forced and everything is alive. Notice how the mind quickly wants to make a plan even for this listening. It asks, what will I gain from this? How long will it take? What should I do next? This is the very movement of control. It is subtle, constant, almost mechanical. It measures, compares, and demands a result. But life is not a project to be finished. It is a living movement, like wind across an open field. The wind does not ask where it is going. The tree does not ask when to grow. Rain does not argue with the clouds. Everything happens in its own mysterious order. Krishnamurti said, "The moment you have a motive for listening, you are not listening." Can you sense how true that is? When there is a motive, the mind is already shaping the future, already controlling. Cannot meet what is happening now. Perhaps you have noticed this in daily life. You sit with a friend, but a quiet tension runs underneath. You are thinking of the next appointment, of unfinished tasks. You nod, you smile, yet the moment is only half alive. The mind is elsewhere, planning, adjusting, protecting. This is control disguised as care. Or think of a morning when the alarm rings and a wave of urgency takes over. Before the feet touch the floor, thoughts rush. Emails, deadlines, traffic, responsibilities. The body moves fast, but inside there is a quiet exhaustion. Why? Because we are always ahead of ourselves, pushing life to match an image of how it should unfold. Pause with this for a while. Listen not only with the ears but with the whole being. There is a different quality of attention that asks for nothing. It is not sleepy. It is alive, simple, open. In that attention, control has no place. Perhaps you wonder, if I stop controlling, won't everything fall apart? It is a natural question. The mind is trained to believe that only effort holds life together. But is that true? Look carefully. Your heartbeat continues whether you worry or not. The seasons change. The earth spins. Even the most personal events, love, death, unexpected meetings, often arrive unplanned. Control is mostly a story we tell ourselves. It gives a feeling of safety, but it is fragile. The slightest change, an illness, a sudden phone call, shakes it. Then anxiety appears because the image of how things must be has been disturbed. Krishnamurti reminded us, freedom is not the opposite of control. It is the absence of the need to control. This does not mean passivity or neglect. It means living so completely in the present that action arises naturally, like a bird taking flight when the wind lifts. No calculation, no inner conflict. Can you allow this idea to settle without rushing to agree or disagree? Just stay with the feeling of it. Notice the breath again. Notice how the chest rises and falls on its own. Notice the space around you, the subtle hum of life moving without effort. Every time you catch yourself tightening inside, gripping a thought, replaying a fear, let it be a gentle signal. Not a command to fix, but a reminder to observe. Observation is not control. It is seeing without interference. It is like watching clouds drift across the sky. You do not pull them, you simply watch. This way of seeing can begin in the smallest moments. While washing dishes, feel the warmth of the water. While walking, sense the rhythm of each step. When speaking, taste the sound of each word as it forms. In these simple acts, a quiet miracle unfolds. Life lives itself. Perhaps you notice a subtle resistance. But what about goals, responsibilities, the future? Life still contains them. Bills are paid, children are cared for, work continues. But action no longer comes from fear or pressure. It flows from clear perception. And clear perception needs silence. Silence here does not mean absence of sound. It is the stillness of a mind that is not agitated, not rushing to conclude. A mind that can listen to the song of a bird or the cry of a child without dividing it into good or bad. A mind that simply meets what is. In that silence, intelligence, not thought, guides action. You know when to speak, when to remain quiet, when to move, when to rest. There is no blueprint. There is only a living response to the present. This is not something to believe. It is something to experience moment by moment. And in the quiet of that experience, an unexpected freedom appears. If these words touch a quiet place in you, let them stay. You might even pause the video for a breath or two. Let silence speak louder than the voice you hear now. If you wish to walk this inner journey with others who value such stillness, you may gently subscribe. It is not a demand, just an open door for future moments of shared quiet. Stay here for a little while. The exploration is only beginning. There is more to uncover. Layers of thought, memory, and fear that bind us. We will look into them next, not to solve them, but to see them as they are. Let us stay with this movement of seeing. Noticing is enough. There is no need to push anything away. Thoughts may come, memories of yesterday, worries for tomorrow. Simply observe them as you would watch leaves floating down a river. They appear, they move, they dissolve. Krishnamurti once said, "When you observe without the observer, the mind becomes extraordinarily quiet." That very quietness is intelligence. Can you feel the meaning behind these words? The observer is the self that judges, compares, names, decides. When that center of control is absent, seeing is pure. There is only what is, without distortion. This quiet seeing is not withdrawal. It is the most alive state of mind. A mind that listens deeply to the sound of rain, to a child's laughter, to the subtle trembling of a thought. It is here, in this space, that transformation happens, not as a goal but as a natural unfolding. Look again at everyday moments. A disagreement with someone you love. Ordinarily, we react from memory. He always does this. I must defend myself. The mind rushes to protect an image of me. But if you simply observe the rising anger without condemning or feeding it, you may notice it softens and passes, like a wave meeting the shore. Action then flows from clarity, not from the past. Or consider the quiet ache of loneliness. Usually we escape it, through screens, conversation, endless activity. But what if you stay with the feeling without naming it? You might discover that what we call loneliness is not an enemy but a doorway to a deeper connection with all life. It is the mind's noise that isolates, not the fact of being alone. This is the heart of non-control. Not indifference, not neglect, but a living openness where intelligence acts freshly. From this openness, care and responsibility flower naturally. There is no formula to follow. Notice how the mind wants to make this a method. I will practice observing every day to become free. But method is another form of control. Freedom cannot be achieved tomorrow. It is only now, in the very act of seeing. As Krishnamurti said, truth is a pathless land. No system, no discipline, no authority can lead you there. Let these words breathe in you. You do not have to hold them. They are like seeds. Some may fall silently and bloom later. Perhaps a subtle fear arises. If I live like this, will I lose ambition? Will I stop caring about the future? Look closely. When action springs from clarity rather than fear, it is far more intelligent and creative. You still design, build, love, plan, but these movements are light, not driven by compulsion. They are like branches reaching for the sun because it is their nature, not because they are ordered to grow. This freedom cannot be forced. It comes when the mind understands the futility of forcing. When you see that control breeds conflict, the very seeing ends control. You do not need to fight to drop it. It drops like a dry leaf. Maybe right now you can sense a subtle stillness in the room. The hum of distant sounds, the rhythm of breathing, the simple presence of being alive. Stay with it. This is not a pause between words. It is life itself. If you wish, allow this quiet to continue even after this video ends. You might softly share this reflection with someone close, not as advice but as an offering of silence. Can help others discover their own space of stillness. Remember, the mind that watches without choice is a free mind. In that freedom, love is not a sentiment but a living flame. Compassion is not a duty but a spontaneous act. Peace is not an idea but a natural fragrance of being. So, as we move toward the next turning point of this meditation, feel the simplicity of what has unfolded. There is nothing mystical to achieve, just a quiet seeing, a listening so complete that the movement of control fades by itself. Stay with this awareness as we shift into a deeper insight, a gentle revelation that transformation is never the result of effort, but of this effortless seeing. Something quiet begins to reveal itself when control fades. It is not an idea or a mystical experience. It is the simple fact that life is whole now. Not tomorrow, not after improvement, now. For years we are taught that transformation requires effort. Practice more, meditate longer, collect techniques. But effort belongs to time, and time is thought. Thought can build machines, write poems, solve problems. Yet thought cannot touch the living mystery of being. It is always late, always the shadow of what has already happened. Krishnamurti expressed it clearly. The ending of conflict is not a result of time. It is when you see completely the falseness of conflict. The moment you see the falseness of control, the need to control drops. Not because you decide to drop it, but because understanding is action. Notice what happens when you see fire. You do not need willpower to avoid touching it. The seeing itself is the action. In the same way, when the mind truly sees that control breeds fear, the habit ends. No struggle. No gradual path. This is the gentle turning of consciousness. The observer and the observed are no longer separate. There is only seeing. In that pure seeing, the mind is quiet. And in that quietness, something vast and immeasurable is present. You may sense it now like a still lake under starlight. Nothing to reach, nothing to fix. The trees, the breath, the beating heart. Everything is held in one unbroken movement. This is not indifference. It is intense aliveness without tension. From here, action takes a different flavor. You may still go to work, care for a child, create art. But there is no burden of I must succeed or I must become. Life expresses itself through you, like music playing through an instrument. The doer is not separate from the doing. Perhaps you are wondering, will this quietness last? Will I lose it tomorrow? Such questions are another movement of time. The mind wants to capture the timeless, but the timeless cannot be stored. It is always fresh. It is here only when you are fully here. Take a slow breath. Let the air fill the body. Feel the simplicity of existence without a center trying to control it. This is the taste of real freedom. You may share this discovery with a friend, not as a belief but as an invitation. Look, life is beautiful when nothing is forced, or simply remain silent. Silence itself communicates more than words. If this moment of clarity resonates in your heart, you may quietly help it reach others by leaving a small reflection in the comments or sharing this meditation with someone who longs for stillness, not as a task, but as a natural gesture of the same freedom. Stay with the stillness a little longer. Let the insight deepen. The transformation we chase has never been away. It blooms the instant control ends. Now we will let this understanding settle into a soft closing, an open space where words fade and only presence remains. Stay very still for a moment. No effort, just the simple awareness of breathing, of the heart quietly beating, of the room alive with invisible motion. The mind may whisper a question. What comes next? See that question and let it drift away like a feather on water. Life is here unmeasured and whole. Not a problem to be solved. Not a path to be walked. Just this vast unfolding that needs no controller. Like a tree standing under the night sky, you are already complete. Krishnamurti often said, when the mind is utterly quiet, the universe opens. Perhaps you sense a glimmer of that openness now. A silence that is not empty but vibrant, limitless. It is not something to hold. It is the essence of living. From this quiet, action will arise naturally when needed. You will speak when words are true, move when movement is clear. No struggle, no resistance. Freedom is simply to live without the burden of becoming. Let these final moments be gentle. Perhaps close your eyes for a breath or two. Feel the stillness deepening beyond these words. There is nothing more to achieve. If this meditation has touched something within you, if it has brought even a small taste of quiet or freedom, let it continue in your daily life. Not as a practice, but as a natural way of seeing. And if you wish, you may softly help this silence reach others. Subscribe to this channel so that new meditations may find you without effort. Leave a comment about any inner discoveries that blossomed as you listened. Share this video with someone who might long for a moment of peace. Not as a duty, but as a quiet offering from heart to heart. Now let the words fade. Let the music or the night around you complete the meditation. Remain in the stillness that is always present, the stillness that is your own true nature. Simply be.